A man named Bebeck posted this eerie clip to his TikTok account in May of 2025. The footage, captured by a home security camera in the dead of night, shows something that's both strange and quietly disturbing. It starts with a simple view of the homeowner's property, still and silent under the darkness. Everything seems uneventful until the moment you notice movement. You can see what looks like the figure of a ghostly woman gliding across the yard. She doesn't rush or wander aimlessly. She simply walks with a calm, steady pace, lingering on the property for nearly a full minute before the footage abruptly ends, offering no explanation for who she was or why she was there. There's something uniquely unsettling about her presence. Her movements aren't erratic, confused, or playful. They're deliberate, almost purposeful, as if she knew exactly where she intended to go. Some viewers have suggested a more grounded explanation, that it could have been a real person distorted by low-light camera quality, which often causes shadows and clothing to blend into a hazy, ghost-like shape. Still, the figure's pale, dreamlike appearance paired with that slow pacing makes the moment feel undeniably spectral. Who was this woman wandering through the darkness? Was she simply someone passing by, captured at the perfect moment to look eerie? Was she lost, searching for something? Or someone? Or maybe, even in the afterlife, she's just determined to get her nightly steps in. Let me know your theories down below. After watching a silent figure glide through a yard in the dead of night, we now move into a place where the dead are supposed to stay still, yet don't. Back in June of 2025, a man named Matzio Brandon Sanchez posted a TikTok video that could make anyone think twice about ever stepping foot inside a funeral home again. In his first clip, Matzio explains that he and his co-workers have been hearing strange noises echoing through the building, even when it's completely empty. As he films, he keeps insisting there's nothing there. Just silence, just shadows, just an ordinary room. But at the 14-second mark, something happens that completely undercuts his reassurance.
Miren, como tenemos rato escuchando ruidos aquí en esta zona. Si vemos, pues está solo. Y creemos que pues hay algo aquí, porque pues se empiezan a mover así como que medio raro. Miren, 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 miren. Miren cómo se mueve, miren, 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 miren. Miren cómo se mueve. No hay nada. No hay nada, no hay nada, no hay nada. Está mi compañero, pero pues si vemos estamos solos, solos, solos.
A coffin suddenly opens by itself, despite there being no one inside and no one anywhere near it. The sight alone is disturbing, but paired with Mattio's shaken voice, it becomes genuinely unsettling. Some viewers wondered if it could be the spirit of a deceased person attempting to make itself known, while others offered more grounded explanations like air pressure, faulty hinges, or shifting wood. Still, the timing and Mattio's rising panic makes it far harder to dismiss. Not long after, he uploaded a second video from the same funeral home. This time, his tone is far more frantic. He mentions more unexplained noises, something in the room that appears burned, and the unnerving fact that he is completely alone inside the building. Moments later, he shouts as the situation spirals out of control.
Ahora sí, ¿cuál pinche que se ve? Que nada. Estoy solo a la chingada. Estoy solo. A la chingada. A la chingada. A la vez. No mames, no mames, no mames. Ah, la chingada.
Furniture and other items begin toppling over one after another, as if shoved by an unseen force. Machio's reaction is raw, swearing, yelling, and trying to make sense of what's happening while still managing to keep the camera rolling. Skeptics have thrown out the usual possibilities: drafts, wires, elaborate staging. But whether or not you believe any of that, the intensity of his fear is unmistakable. And if even a fraction of this is real, it raises a chilling question. What kind of energy would be strong enough to throw furniture around in a place meant for the dead to rest? Now, from a coffin opening on its own, we move into a quieter but equally unsettling moment, where a single dresser drawer responds almost like someone listening. Over on TikTok, a woman named Sandra shared that ever since her mother passed away, she has been experiencing some truly strange activity inside her home, the kind that's unsettling enough to make her question whether she's really alone. In her video, Sandra films inside a bedroom, and almost immediately something unexpected happens.
Keep happening in my house since my mom passed away. Like, why?
One of the dresser drawers begins to slide open on its own, moving slowly and steadily as if guided by an invisible hand. Sandra then walks closer to show there's nothing nearby. No strings, no pets, no fans, nothing that could be causing the drawer to move. It's a quiet moment, but the calmness of it is exactly what makes it so eerie. What happens next, though, is even more intriguing.
I looked underneath the drawer, I looked behind it, there's nothing making it pop out. And it seems like it's when I bring up my mom that something happens. Mom? Your cat's fucking weird.
Only a second or two after Sandra calls out for her mom, the drawer opens again, almost like a direct reply to her voice. The timing feels incredibly precise, enough to make anyone wonder whether it was coincidence or something more intentional. Of course, skeptics will argue that fishing wire or a similar setup could have been used, though nothing like that is visible in the clip. But if we take the footage at face value, it presents a touching possibility. A subtle, almost gentle form of communication between a mother and daughter, reaching across whatever lies beyond. It's one of those rare videos that manages to feel unsettling and strangely comforting at the same time. What do you think? Something paranormal? Or just a very convincing trick? The last moment felt personal, but this next one tears through a kitchen with the force of something far less forgiving. And that video comes from a YouTuber known as Begjohn, who uploaded this eerie footage all the way back in May of 2008. In the first clip, the uploader is seen walking through his house, seemingly performing a blessing in the kitchen. But that's when everything suddenly takes a disturbing turn. Without warning, multiple objects are thrown to the floor as if by an unseen force. At the same time, the camera begins crackling with bursts of static, heightening the chaos unfolding around him. The uploader's reaction, trembling hands, rapid breathing, makes it clear he's genuinely terrified. Then the video cuts off. But the story doesn't end there. Not long after, a second video was uploaded, this time recorded with a stationary camera positioned inside the same kitchen. What it captures is even more chilling. If you look closely, a ghostly figure glides across the kitchen before vanishing into thin air. The moment is so quick that you might miss it on the first watch, but once you see it, it's hard to ignore. Of course, skeptics have offered their own explanations. The objects in the first video could have been pulled with fishing wire, and the figure in the second clip might have been added in post-production or caused by compression artifacts. Still, if this was staged in 2008, it would have required a surprising amount of planning and technical skill, far more than most casual creators had at the time. So what do you think? Was this a genuine case of paranormal disruption during a home blessing, or a cleverly executed hoax from YouTube's early days? Either way, it remains one of the more memorable poltergeist videos to surface on the platform. Now, from one apparition, we move to another. But this time, it's not inside the home. It's waiting right outside the back door. On January 20th, 2023, a man named Anthony Young uploaded a brief but chilling piece of home security footage to his Facebook page, asking viewers for their thoughts on what he had captured. The clip itself lasts only about 10 seconds, but it gets straight to the point. In the video, someone is walking outside at night, illuminated only by the faint glow of nearby lights. Everything seems perfectly ordinary, quiet, calm, uneventful. And then, something far stranger happens in the background. Near the garbage cans, a ghostly figure appears to sprint across the yard. The shape seems to move with purpose, heading straight toward the front door before vanishing entirely, leaving no trace behind. The speed of the apparition makes it especially unnerving. It's one of those moments you have to rewind just to confirm you actually saw it. Skeptics have suggested all the usual alternatives: an insect passing close to the lens, a trick of the light, a person distorted by motion blur. But the way the figure seems to run and then instantly disappear has left many viewers questioning whether those explanations really hold up. Unfortunately, Anthony hasn't shared any updates since the original post, so it's unclear whether anything else happened afterward. One can only hope that whatever that fleeting shape was, it didn't find its way inside. So what do you think? Did Anthony's camera capture something paranormal rushing toward his front door? Or is there a more grounded explanation behind this eerie moment? Now, after that figure racing toward a front door, our next clip takes us somewhere even more unsettling. An abandoned school still holding on to what was left behind. Elementary schools are usually places of joy, curiosity, and growth. Spaces where children take their first steps into the world, guided by structure, creativity, and safety. But when those same schools are abandoned and left to rot, the warmth fades, and something far heavier seems to take its place. Some of these forgotten buildings, as this next video suggests, appear to hold on to something far darker. TikTok user Mike Runner posted a video in August of 2023 showing his exploration of an abandoned elementary school that had clearly been left untouched for years. As he moves quietly through the empty hallways, a creeping sense of unease follows him with every step. Around the 2-minute mark, Mike starts finding children's drawings scattered across the dusty floors, each one left behind exactly where it fell. Most look innocent enough, but a few contain unsettling shapes and figures that feel strangely out of place, the kind of imagery that doesn't quite seem like the work of a child. The fact that these drawings are spread out across different rooms instead of gathered together only amplifies the sense of abandonment, as if the school was suddenly vacated and frozen in time. Then, as he continues deeper inside, an eerie, metallic voice abruptly cuts through the silence. It echoes down the hallway with a robotic, unnatural tone that makes it impossible to tell where the sound is coming from, or what it's supposed to be. Some viewers believe this moment could be an example of something otherworldly trying to communicate through the space, while others argue the audio might have been added using distortion effects in post-production. Still, in the moment, the way the sound blends with the atmosphere makes it feel disturbingly real. And just when it seems like the tension can't build any further, a large dark figure appears standing motionless in the corner of a room. It doesn't move. It doesn't react. It simply looms in place, easy to miss at first glance, but impossible to ignore once you've noticed it. Some say it could just be a shadow or an oddly shaped object, while others insist the figure is too defined and too intentional to be mistaken for anything else. Whatever the explanation may be, this video captures the eerie stillness and lingering presence that many associate with truly haunted places, especially ones that were once filled with children's laughter, now replaced with silence and decay. After wandering the empty halls of a forgotten school, we head into our next clip, where even daylight can't keep the shadows away. Reddit user Lomdrix posted a video to the Ghost subreddit, one that quietly reminds you that broad daylight doesn't always guarantee safety, even inside your own home. He explains that the footage comes from his mother's Ring camera. At first glance, it looks completely ordinary. She's slipping a leash onto the family dog, getting ready to head out for a walk, unaware of anything unusual happening around her. But the hallway tells a different story. If you look closely at the background, a shadow-like figure glides across the hallway with a movement that resembles someone walking past. What makes it especially unsettling is that his mother doesn't react to it at all, even though the shape passes directly behind her. Of course, shadows in Ring footage can sometimes be dismissed as tricks of light, reflections from passing cars, shifting sunlight, or interior lighting creating distorted shapes. But in this case, the hallway appears to have no light source that would cast such a clear, deliberate motion. The stride of the shadow seems purposeful, as if whatever it was had an intention of its own rather than being a random blur. It's not hard to imagine how chilling it must have been for her to replay the clip and realize something, or someone, might have been standing just a few feet away without her noticing. Whether it was a paranormal presence or simply a very convincing camera anomaly, it's the kind of moment that makes you rethink just how comforting daylight truly is. From a silent figure gliding through a home, we step into our next clip, where a door moves on its own and someone watches from above. How many of you out there are Stranger Things fans? I'm guessing quite a lot, considering it's become one of the most iconic shows in television history. And if you've seen it, you already know that Hawkins' lab is easily one of the most unsettling places in the entire series, a facility tied to dark experiments and multiple Demogorgon attacks. In real life, though, the Hawkins lab filming location is supposed to be completely normal, right? Well, maybe not. A TikTok posted by a man named JC Rodriguez suggests there's more to the story than you might expect. JC explains that as a huge fan of the show, he simply wanted to visit the building in person. But instead of having a fun sightseeing moment, he walked away genuinely shaken.
No way.
What?
There is
Told
no
you.
way.
I thought it was crazy.
There is
It's
no
moving.
way
I can see.
that
It's closing.
Oh, it's shut. God, that guy rolling out the window. It completely shut. The car is started.
Sorry, did she see it? She didn't.
God.
Oh my god. Oh
Look,
my
it's
god.
opening,
Look, it's
it's
opening
opening
again.
again.
It's
Wait,
opening
take
again.
it on video, get on video.
Somebody record this.
I am.
This is paranormal experience.
There's no wind either. Like you can just look at the trees right now. They're not moving at all.
Completely abandoned. No wind. There's nothing anymore.
Like you can look at the plants, the tree, nothing is blowing. It's
Alright.
just opening.
There's no explanation for that. It's also so irregular that it can't be like
It's opening. It's opening. It's opening. No.
No, it's opening fast.
Okay.
Why?
Okay.
Oh my
That's the
God.
widest it's opened.
That fast too.
What is that?
It's opening and closing.
Oh my gosh. You're gonna need to send me that
You're
video.
filming this? Okay, thank God.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I need to know the history of this place.
Is that a person?
Yeah, we're gonna save ourselves. Don't worry.
What is that?
What is what?
Do you see that?
Oh,
Look at my
there's definitely
phone.
something moving inside. No, I see it.
What is that?
I see
Is
it.
that a person?
Is that a person?
Why does that looks like a person? I'm looking at JC's phone. It looks
Yeah,
like a
it's
person.
like a
in there.
person.
I'm looking at his phone. It's literally a figure.
No, I see
You're
it.
recording
I
that,
see
right?
it. I see it.
Okay, so you could play back and show you guys.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, okay. I see it. It's different. Please put the window up. I see it. It's a dark figure.
driving.
It's a dark figure. It's a
We're
dark figure.
driving.
It's a dark figure.
We're
I
driving
don't like that.
Ooh, brakes are on.
Please. I see a dark figure moving.
Oh my God. That's right.
Throughout his video, the front door can be seen moving on its own, as if someone unseen is gently pulling it from the inside. And to make matters worse, around the 1-minute mark, you can spot what appears to be a dark figure, possibly a hooded person, standing on one of the balconies and watching JC and his friends from above. What makes this especially unnerving is the location itself. Hawkins' lab was filmed at the old Georgia Mental Health Institute, a massive facility that has been abandoned for decades. No staff, no residents, no security. Nobody should be inside that building at all. So the idea that someone, or something, was standing there observing them raises a lot of questions. Who was that figure? Why was the door opening on its own? And if the site is truly empty, what else might be inside? So the next time you watch Stranger Things, keep in mind that not every mystery surrounding Hawkins' lab may be fictional. Some places carry their own stories long before the cameras arrive. After that figure watching from an abandoned mental institute, we now head to the middle of the ocean, where something impossible crosses a Navy corridor. Over on the Paranormal Encounter subreddit, a user known as SmallP4530 shared a piece of footage that immediately grabbed the community's attention. According to him, he served in the Navy and spent 6 months of every year deployed at sea, 6 years on, 6 years off, witnessing more than a few things he couldn't fully explain. But out of everything he experienced, this was the one moment he actually managed to capture on camera. The clip begins with nothing out of the ordinary, an empty corridor, washed in the cold glow of a security camera. But within seconds, something unexpected darts into frame, a strange, shadowy figure that moves with an unnatural bounce before abruptly disappearing as if it simply blinks out of existence. The comment section was just as confused as the uploader. One viewer mentioned that the shape reminded them of No-Face from Spirited Away, which doesn't seem too far off considering the odd proportions and fluid, inhuman movement. Others tried to rationalize it as a child running past the camera, but the way the figure vanishes makes that explanation hard to accept. And then there's the setting itself, which only deepens the mystery. This wasn't filmed in a neighborhood, or near a busy street where stray figures might wander through a shot. It was recorded on the USS Ronald Reagan, an active Navy vessel isolated in the middle of the ocean, making the list of logical explanations significantly shorter. If it really was just a child, how would they have gotten there? And if it wasn't, then what exactly did Small P's camera pick up that night? Whatever the truth is, the footage leaves an uncomfortable impression. You can only hope that whatever that figure was, human or not, never found its way back onto the ship again. Now from a ship isolated in open water, we now enter a living room where something appears for just a second and leaves a mark that lasts years. Over on TikTok, a woman named Megs posted a deeply unsettling clip that appears to show genuinely chilling activity unfolding in broad daylight inside her home. In the video, Megs pulls out her phone because she feels like something is off. As she films, we see her brother sleeping on the couch, completely unaware that something far more disturbing may be lingering just a few feet away. If you look down the hallway at the start of the video, a faint, ghostly figure seems to be standing near the door, only visible for a moment before disappearing entirely. Just a second or two later, the figure is gone. In the caption, Megs explains that the footage was actually recorded 6 years ago, and even now she still has no explanation for what her camera captured that day. When you compare frames side by side, the vacuum cleaner in the hallway remains in the exact same position, which only makes the sudden disappearance of the figure feel even stranger. There's no clear movement, no shadow slipping out of view, no sign of an exit. It simply vanishes. And some viewers suggested that it could have been a person stepping back into a room just outside the camera's line of sight, or perhaps a clever bit of digital editing. But considering the video sat unnoticed for years before resurfacing, the hoax theory becomes a little harder to confirm with certainty. So what do you think? Was this hallway genuinely haunted, or is there a more grounded explanation lurking just out of frame? Let me know in the comments. Now, with that thought lingering, we move into a series of moments where shadows follow pets and objects shift without reason. We're looking at a small collection of unsettling clips that have circulated online, each offering a glimpse into what might be lurking just out of sight. The first video was captured on a home security camera in the middle of the night. Everything seems still at first, until you focus on the cat. As soon as the cat walks into frame, a shadowy figure appears right behind it, trailing the animal with a movement that looks almost too deliberate to be a simple trick of the light. The second clip, uploaded by a TikTok user named Tammy G, adds even more intrigue. It's another piece of home security footage, and if you look toward the corner of the screen at the very start, something faint drifts into view. The shape is subtle, but it resembles a pale figure moving through her home as if unaware or unconcerned that it's being recorded. The next video is even more unnerving. Tammy had set up a camera in her bedroom while she slept, likely because of the strange activity she'd already been dealing with. And sure enough, something appears once again. That isn't the end of it, though. Tammy uploaded 2 additional videos showing more objects shifting around on their own inside her house, each one adding to the growing pattern. Viewed together, the clips paint a picture of a home experiencing something far from ordinary. Of course, skeptics will say there are plenty of potential explanations: reflections, shadows, glitchy cameras, or even clever editing. But the consistency across multiple videos, especially with the cat reacting in the first clip, makes these moments difficult to dismiss outright. Even if the truth is uncertain, the unease they leave behind feels very real. From quiet homes with restless activity, we now head into a workplace where someone, or something, has been lurking for days. YouTube user The Owls Laskins explains that he had been working late in his studio and was finally getting ready to head home at around 2 in the morning. But for several nights in a row, he had been hearing unsettling noises inside the building, heavy footsteps echoing through empty rooms, and strange movements just at the edges of his vision. He also claims that only minutes before filming this video, he went to the bathroom and felt something, or someone, grab his shoulder. Instead of leaving, he decided he needed answers. So, he pulled out his phone to see if he could catch whoever or whatever was responsible. He starts by checking the bathroom, finding nothing out of the ordinary, and eventually turns to leave. But pay attention to what happens as he steps through the corridor.
Hello? Alright, I think I'm done. I think I've had about enough for today.
At the time, he didn't seem to notice it, but viewers certainly did. If you look closely, you can see a figure briefly peering around the corner at him before snapping its head back out of sight. The video cuts shortly afterward, but the implication is hard to ignore. Someone had been inside the studio with him, lurking out of view for days. There haven't been any updates from the Auslaskan since the upload, so it's unclear whether the situation ever escalated or was resolved. Skeptics have offered their usual theories: a trick of the light, a shifting shadow, or clever editing. Others believe it might have been a person leaning or bracing themselves behind the wall to appear taller than normal, which could explain why the head in the clip seems unusually high up in the stairwell. Still, whether it was an elaborate setup or something genuinely unexplainable, the footage remains one of the more unsettling recordings to appear online. Whatever this was, it stayed partly hidden. But this last one doesn't show itself at all. It simply speaks. Over on the Ghost subreddit, a user known as The Proof Seekers shared a video capturing some genuinely unsettling activity inside someone's bedroom, and in the middle of the day no less. The footage comes from a locked-off camera pointed at the room. At first, nothing seems the slightest bit unusual. It looks like any quiet, empty bedroom, still and uneventful. But that changes quickly. Without warning, a deep, whispery voice can be heard saying "hello" from somewhere nearby. It lasts only a moment, but the tone is unmistakably eerie. There isn't much context provided in the post, but the lack of explanation only seems to amplify the creepiness. The voice is clear enough to be heard distinctly, yet there's absolutely no visual indication of where it came from. No person entering the room, no movement, nothing at all. That's exactly what unsettled viewers. Some commenters said the voice sounded like something straight out of a nightmare, while others wondered whether it could have been audio from a video game or television playing in another room. But nothing in the clip suggests any obvious source that would make sense. So what do you think? Could this have been a perfectly normal sound captured at just the right moment? Or something more sinister? One thing's for certain. That's not the kind of greeting you'd ever want to hear when you're home alone. Now that was all for today, folks. If you enjoyed these horrifying clips, click to see more on the video on screen.